All right, let's get straight into it, shall we? So Bitcoin right now is approaching 117,000 US dollars. It's exactly what we want. It is October the 1st, and now we're going into quarter four of this year. So quarter three, out of the window, it's finished. Goodbye to that. And most of it, I mean, we've been pretty much going sideways, really, during those the last the third quarter. Now we're going into quarter four. Are we going to experience those mad gains with Bitcoin, and not only Bitcoin, but with the altcoins? So we're going to look at the price of Bitcoin in just a second, some of the resistance, key support levels to look out for, and which direction really are we heading to for quarter four. So again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification so that you can be notified with each and every video. I'm going to try my best and bring out as many videos as possible for my audience for quarter four, because this is the most parabolic phase. If history repeats with the cycle, then October, November and December should look like this here, and we had it back in 2023. It wasn't too bad, but the last 2-3 cycles, generally speaking, October through to December, it's an absolute frenzy. Not just with Bitcoin, because these are the Bitcoin monthly returns, but with the rest of the space, the altcoins. That's what we're mainly here for. So today is pretty much in the green right across the board. The last couple of weeks were not particularly great, but now that we've got rid of September, and historically September is usually a red month, but now we've just printed a third year in a row a nice green monthly candle for the month of September. Not much. I mean, the last 3 years only 5%, 7% and 4%, but when we look what happens in October, November and December in the last couple of bull runs, just look at 2020. It was 6 months, in fact. It went from October all the way to March, where we had 27%, November was 43%, and so on. And we had that 6 month craze with Bitcoin and with the altcoin. So are we going to see something like that? I've heard a lot of talk about super cycles, etc. Are we going to have an extended period for Bitcoin and altcoins? Maybe, maybe not. I hear this every cycle. Different price point predictions, maybe way too high with different things, different price points with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, and the altcoins. But you just have your plan, and generally when you hear the same thing all over the place, like Bitcoin's going to go to 300,000-400,000 or whatever. 4 years ago, Bitcoin was going to go to 100k. It didn't. When I first started, Bitcoin went to 20,000, which was phenomenal, from a few $100s to 20,000, and then the last cycle from the all-time high of 20,000 to 67,000 or 70,000. And so the point is, just don't get into that mindset of having a price point that you're waiting for, because most likely it won't happen, and the bear market will come. I think, again, not financial advice, everything I say is just for educational purpose only. The bear market comes when, of course, when everybody is saying the same thing, when we see the greed and extreme greed for a number of weeks. Altcoin season has been in blue, over 75%, 80, touching 90%. Your family start talking about crypto. It's on mainstream media. It's the time. It's the alarm signal should be going off at that point. So we haven't hit that yet. We've got a lot of things to look forward to. If the next 3 months or anything like the last couple of cycles, then you're in for a real treat. So just looking at the Bitcoin dominance for the altcoins, because most are here not for Bitcoin anymore. Of course, I always say you want to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. So whatever gains I make personally, I try to put it in Bitcoin, Ethereum, but mainly in Bitcoin. 78% will go into Bitcoin. You want to keep it safe in Bitcoin when you make those gains in the altcoins, because the altcoins will go down 90% in the next bear market. So with that in mind, this is the weekly, the Bitcoin dominance, and over the course of, if we just zoom out to our last cycle, some people in my comments have said, okay, we've had altcoin seasons throughout here, We've had one here, but it's not. These are altcoin rallies. We've had altcoin rallies over the past 4 years when the dominance falls. We've had meme coins explode. I think it was like in January 2023 or 2024, I don't remember, for a couple of months. We had an AI phase where I don't remember if that was around this period here of 2024. But I remember the meme coins and the AI, we had altcoin rallies. An altcoin season is what you see right here. When this absolutely falls 20-30% and the altcoins are doing a 2x every day for weeks on end, and some are doing 50x to 100x. Some of these micro cap coins do multiple x's, and so right now we're probably now going, we are in phase 3 in my opinion. We're going into phase 3. Of course Bitcoin and Ethereum will continue to rally, but now the money flow is going to continue into a phase 3, and the big gains are going to happen in alt season in phase 4, which is generally October through December. So we're just waiting now for Bitcoin to make its final move, final push to the upside. I think I've always said between 120 and 150,000. Technically we've already been over 120 and 124,000, but I'm still thinking around 150,000. I think that's quite conservative. Let me know where you think Bitcoin's heading to the end, until the end of this year. But when that happens, and if it happens, of course, then the altcoin season will follow suit, and it's going to be absolutely explosive. So this is the path to altcoin season. You've probably seen this many times on my show. I bring it out. But yeah, and it's interesting. I like this, the phase overlap, regardless of market cap. Some altcoins with strong fundamentals are having pumps, and even coins with no fundamentals, everything pumps in altcoin season, and it's absolutely parabolic. Literally every coin will pump at some point during that season. So let's just go over to Bitcoin to finish off. So this is the weekly. We were panicking last week thinking, oh no, we're going to break through the 108,000 and start coming down to these levels. We held pretty strong. We got a bounce off that 110 support again around that area. What we don't want to see now is, if I'm being objective with this, we don't want to create this. We've created this high here. We don't want to roll over and create another one and come down, because that would be like another step down. And it wouldn't look too good if we create a lower high just here. It's potential. We could get rejected at 117,000 again, like we did here back on the 15th, around the 15th of September, 2 weeks ago. That's when we dumped all the way down here last week. So hopefully we don't get rejected at 117,000. We need to pump past this. If not, then we've got that possibility of getting rejected and coming back down and retesting 110,000. Personally, I don't think that will happen, especially if the history repeats with the cycles. The only way is up now with if the history repeats. So if we pump past 117, we could skyrocket straight past our all-time highs of 124,000. I mean, technically the candle wicks here topped out at 119, 120,000. So if we can create a candlestick that closes above 120,000 over the next couple of weeks, then yeah, it's going to be fireworks over the next few months. So I've mentioned this inverse head and shoulders pattern. The price point of this is approximately, it's not a very good drawing, but anyway, if we put it at the breakout, it's all the way up here at 143,000. But I'm calling for 150, anywhere between 150 to 200,000, but I'll be taking major profits off the table as soon as we get to around this level here, depending on the time period as well. And if the altcoins have started pumping, moving, the Bitcoin dominance starts falling, then I will be taking profits as we go along. I'll be laddering out. I won't be selling everything all at once, but taking profits off the table slowly. That way I leave something in my portfolio for those extra weeks, maybe an extended cycle, so that I continue to make profit. I don't want to sell too early everything, and obviously I don't want to sell I want to start selling. I don't want to sell stuff late, because if you start selling stuff late, then you're just going to hold a bag of altcoins down to zero, ready for the next cycle. So have your strategy ready. Mine is to ladder out as soon as we get to around 130 to 150,000, especially if we start seeing this come tanking down. I'll be withdrawing some of my altcoins into Bitcoin. I want to acquire more Bitcoin for the next cycle, and maybe even taking some profits for myself. So that's pretty much it for today's episode. Thanks, guys and girls, for sticking to the very end. Tomorrow I will be with Edo. We're doing another 2-episode podcast on the market, the psychology of the market, especially over the next 3 months, will be interesting for us to talk about the altcoins, and we'll look at the Bitcoin price. So stay tuned for that tomorrow and Friday. Enjoy your day, and see you next time.